Well, greetings again. This is Dr. Bill Wyatt, and I'm going to talk about bonded blocks and things that I learned about how teeth move by using these bonded blocks. And I used them to jump across by it one time, and a lateral tooth was hitting behind like this, and I had to jack the one side up and then jump the tooth over on the other side and let it go back down, and not realizing. So I put the bonded block on the side where I had the lateral tooth that needed to be brought into line, and had to jump it from the tongue side out to the labial or the line with the rest of the teeth. And it was simple what you had to do. And I didn't realize what a change would make in those teeth. And there's a principle here that I want to pass on to everybody about it. Let's get started now, and I'll go ahead and start. Let me get the first slides going. What's the double H? All right, here it is. Sorry to hold up here. This young man came to me, and he was perfectly fine, and he had a crossbite that just wouldn't stop. And you look at his teeth here, and when you smile, and you don't see much. But here's a double crossbite in the front part of his mouth, like that. And these teeth are touching back here, and all of them are touching this way. This central came down. There was a lateral out here on the outside, and we couldn't make the model without breaking that lateral off. So this lateral on the bottom was in front of this tooth, and this front of the tooth was in front of the other, the lateral on the back. This was the central right here. And then that was a kind of a double cross bite here. And so for me to jump that tooth from the back to the front, I had to put a bonded block over on this side of the mouth, if I remember. And it was about, it looked like a gap there. Let me get over here and show the picture of that. And on this side he had a tooth out, and we took the 6-year molar right here and brought the third molar up into the place, but the guy never stayed for us to finish him up. And we took the 6-year molar down here because the molar was gone up here, and we're going to bring the wisdom tooth and the second molar and put it in here. This is restorative dentistry on that. But right over here, this tooth was broken off right there, and we're going to put a block in here and have it open big enough to where we can jump that lateral from here out to the front. Now, that makes sense. There was no big problem on that. Now, the lateral up above, the upper lateral fit behind and there was a lower lateral in between there. And we took the 6-year molars out. He had wisdom teeth behind there, and the teeth were gone above, so we took those to match the two sides up, upper and lower. And you can see the broken tooth down here, right in this area. Excuse me a minute, and we will close this one. You'll have to hit your finger with it. You can't stop it. You'll have to get There it is. Sorry for the interference there. We had to turn the air conditioner off. So back. This tooth down here on the bottom is the one that broke off when it stuck over the side. Now if we go back and look at the x-rays here, these teeth we took out, and we were going to bring these teeth and fill that in like that. But instead of this tooth with the cavity, we had used the wisdom tooth. The wisdom tooth was being used up here, and the first molar was gone on this area, so we were going to bring that together. And this lateral that was out was on the left side, if I remember. Now there it is. And he, in his mouth, when he bit too, the central went down between this, and so we're going to bond a block back in here. We went ahead and extracted the teeth really before we started that, which was probably a mistake. It'd been better if we'd waited till we jumped the tooth and then extract the tooth back in the molar area to close that. All right, here's the lateral on the top, and we're going to have to bring this lateral into this gap, and I think this is the permanent cuspid here. We'll have to bring it back, bring it lateral in there, and this gap had already been closed together when we saw the child, or the young man, brother. Now we took the teeth on the bottom, and we came in and we lined all that up, and I spread the cuspid back by putting a spring in here, and we pushed it back, and this is the lateral that was in the back, and we brought it forward here. By the time I did that, the gap over here, if he was biting this, there was a big space in this area here. And by the time I did that, these teeth were almost touching each other. In other words, the teeth moved, bone and all moved together down here. And this stayed the same over on that side. Now let's go back and look. Here's the bonding material. See, we stuck between those teeth to get this lateral to come out here, and we were pushing that cuspid back at the same time. So it took us probably two and a half months before we got that tooth over there. But before we got it over here, this gap stayed the same, and these teeth he was eating over on this side of the mouth. Now, the teeth did not grow, the bone and teeth and all moved together on that side. And this taught me something. In other words, if you open the teeth on one side, the other side will grow together. If you wait 2 to 3 months, one side will come all the way down together. I mean, we're talking about probably about 3/8 of an inch. A gap not quite half an inch will close up in that length of time. Now here we are, we've got that going, and we keep pulling on that too to get it through, and we've got this big, huge block of acrylic over here he eats on, and he chews over on this side of the teeth. And I learned something from this. Now, watch what happens. You go in here and take the block off now. All right, we pulled on that. We got the tooth gap. And the space over here on this side where we didn't have the block, the teeth have almost closed together over on that side. They've closed at least half of the distance to coming through On the other side, they had not closed at all, and we're going to take this block out. Now, this was, I don't know the dates on it, but it was probably in the early 60s, like that. And it was bringing this tooth in that gap. We had a little flexible wire pulling the tooth through that space. All right, there it is. We've got it, and this tooth is coming through the gap. And so we get the tooth through there. We take the block off. So we go in here, we'll cut a groove down the middle of this, prise it apart, and this is just plain lab acrylic. It's soft and everything. You can spread it apart and break one side of this off, and then you can break the other side off like that. And so we take that apart. Now, all this time, these teeth have come together down here. And this, we regret this person they just stopped paying. And so we kept fussing at them to get this paid up to date and everything. Now that's a bad picture there, that just shows the top. Now there's that lateral has come into place. So the lateral is through there now. And we've got it. Now we remove the block from this side of the mouth. We take it out like this. And we've got a space over here. And a lot of people would throw up their hands and say, my God, this is a holy mess. Now, he's eating on one side of the mouth, not on the other side. And I have done this in the past on many cases. And you'll have a gap there, and then you work on it, and these will close over here. Then when you take that out, this will come back together, and this will open up over here on this side. If you open up this space, and these teeth don't touch, don't take any force. These take much more force than they normally would take, so they would intrude, and then these would drop down together, and the thing will level out where it is. And this gave me a thing that I never got to try, but I think this would work on people that had chondrohypoplasia, where one side stopped growing and the other side did not. And we tried to work with that, but I think this would have done the job in that. I'll go back and show that on another case here in the next video. All right. We had this all ready to go, and now this is closing up, and this is closing together, and it will level out, but he up and just disappeared. And this was 1985. Now that's 85. Now that's the side. So we got all this work done. We got the upper teeth forward in that space. And the lower, we got this move forward almost with the other side. And we were pulling that up into space over there. And we're lining all this up. And he just disappeared. And we wrote letters and everything, trying to get him back. I wanted to see how this finished out, but I never got to because of it. But I know if he went to somebody else, this would have scared them off if they had seen that gap. But if you just leave it alone, it'll level its stuff out. And I can guarantee you that because I've seen it do it, I don't know how many times in the past. So And this is a truth which these truths stand. They'll be the same 100 years from now. If you take the teeth out from under something over here, they will move together over the net. And this happens all the time unless somebody sticks something in between there. So he disappeared, and that was the last time I saw the young man. And I'm sorry they left over this, but they never answered a letter or anything. So I just lost what was a lesson that I needed to know about that. So I'm going to say goodbye and join our channel and subscribe to it.